Hi guys. It's Sunday morning and I am thinking of switching from my 2025 Hobonichi into my 2026 Hobonichi, mainly because I noticed that I've started putting more and more things for January, and I would like to have the overview of my year as it progresses already in my new one, so that I don't have to copy too many things. So I was thinking what we could do together is spend some time seeing how I do this, the process of switching from one Hobonichi to another. So first and foremost, I already copied the addresses, so, or at least I started copying them to my new Hobonichi, the ones that I most often write to, or yeah, I think I need to keep in mind. So I will start by writing my important dates, and first I will mark the dates for my trip to New Zealand and my 2027 shot that I have remaining, so that I don't forget it next year. The next I will plan out later, and what I usually do with this portion is I track my monthlies. I excuse my nails. It's winter in Luxembourg and I don't get enough sun, so they are a little bit wrapped up. And so what I would usually do. Oh, and I also kind of wanted to do a little bit of an update because I totally abandoned my workout tracking. It stopped being regular, and there were so many changes towards the end of the year. I was traveling a lot, and I switched gyms as a result so that I don't overpay for the gym that I don't use. So that's something that I abandoned during the year. I also abandoned my mood tracker. I actually am surprised that I did last all the way until June, but I ended up recreating a lot of it, and it just didn't feel like I'm getting the bang for my buck, the amount of effort that I needed to update it for what I was actually learning from it. So the next thing I would do is I would go through my month and I would copy down all the birthdays that I have. For example, in January, this is December. I won't do it for December because it's almost the end of the year, so I will just copy it in my weeks, in my weekly section. So here I usually then write when a birthday is approaching, so I will put it into the week when it's coming, and that way I will know when the birthday is. So I'm kind of using this only as a reference, and I'm using the monthly section only as a reference for birthdays, and I'm using my week to know what's happening that week, obviously. So in January there are 2 birthdays, and I write their names like so, and one more towards the end. Okay, and I missed one here. So that's my January more or less copied. For the oh, I put it into December. Why didn't you tell me, guys? No, I'm joking. Let's just put them in the right month. It doesn't really matter that the December is a little bit messed up. I will remember that far ahead. So the 17th and 26th we have birthdays. And then I would go through my 2025 and I would do that everywhere. I would see, where do we have a birthday? This would be a birthday. This not, but this is an anniversary. And then I would copy it in my February or my March, depending on where we are. And basically that's what I'm going to do for all of them. I'm going to go through the entire 2025 monthly section, see if an anniversary or a birthday is coming, and I will copy it. And then I get to double check it in my weeklies. So I will go through my entire weekly from January. Oh, it seems like I was here in November last year. I was impatient to move in here. That's a good sign. I was actually much more patient this year because I almost made it until the end of the year. So from January, I would go through all of my notes, see if there's any, my now more stabilized layout is that I have my work notes here and my home notes here. So it's changed a lot in that I prep it a lot less. There's a lot less deco, and more it's just been notes towards the end of the year. So I've simplified my layouts a lot more, and I'm still enjoying it very much. So I'm going to see if there are any birthdays that I caught in the weeklies that I didn't catch in my monthlies, and then I will copy that in the monthlies of my 2026 as well. And then I will go through the rest of my December here, and I will see if there are any notes to so first I will see if there are any notes that I need to copy in my 2026 December. So I need to make sure that I'm not in my 2025 December, so the beginning of the year, but that I'm not in my 2026 December. So I almost did a mistake, that I am in my 2025. So the week that I will be moving into this, I've actually already started prepping in my 2025 Hobonichi weeks. So what I will do now is I will quickly show you my layout. And what I basically do is very simple, and it's been shown, I think, on this channel a while ago, but I don't suppose anybody remembers or has seen that, quite honestly, because it's been a while ago. So I just outline the weekend, and the weekend I actually block out, so I don't do every line, but I do all of the weeks. I'm trying to do it quicker than I usually do, but I'm hoping that that won't result in smudges. And then I outline the entire week section, and I leave usually, oh, it's smudged. It's smudged a little, you will forgive me. So I just do every day, every work day, so that I have a clear delineation between them, just because the lines are faint, and I also like to see the ink of my color of my ink. I also don't do this every time. Sometimes I do less of an outline or more of an outline, but I right now feel like having that structure here, and also like smudging more of my ink. That I think brings me a lot of joy at the moment, so that's probably why I'm doing it. So there are a few smudges, but we'll let it go. And then I outline my free notes section as well, also just because I like the way it looks. I think it's fun with the weeks that the notes section, the number of the month is migrating towards the end of the year to the bottom of the page, so that I also sometimes use as a guide, depending on the month, for where I will either put my schedule or where I will put my notes, my last section. But for now, since it's the beginning of the year, it's on the top of the page, so it's not that useful yet. And I'm talking about this. And so here I will put my, sometimes I will also use my markers to add some color this will be my next week's section. This is where my notes for what needs to be planned into the next week's planning go. And then I open my running Hobonichi and I see what do I have. Oh, I first forgot to make the most important line, and there are dots in Hobonichi. If you have Hobonichi, you know. So I just connect those dots so that I have the majority of my space for my work. And this is where my home and leisure, and this is where my work notes go. So I will put that in here. So this would be my non-strictly work-related obligations, and this is where my main obligations go. And I really do jot them down this ugly. So that would be about it for the migration for the latest week. This is where I will plan my weekend for next, and I can suppose that this isn't going to be happening, so not to forget that. And then I will add a little schedule, because when I started planning, I started in a Jibun Techo, and I had an overview through hours all of the meetings that I had, so I got used to that. I don't have that many, so I don't actually need a Jibun Techo anymore, and I've kind of gotten used to Hobonichi in the meantime. I think it's my 3rd or 4th year. So what I do is I will jot down the names of the days in French, so that I also at the same time repeat in my head. And this is how I more or less memorized the work days in French. And I did that for Swedish before as well, when I was in Sweden and studying Swedish. So that's a little tip. And then I create my notes section based on where my schedule ends. So I can add that here as well. This is where I'll just catch any running notes in a meeting that doesn't have too much. Most of them will go in my notes section, and then I will add little tabs so I can find the most important sections. But the small, really quick ones go here. And then I will do a little hours indication. So I usually start at 8 and I put it really, really close to the weekdays, because I seldom am awake early enough to start my day at 8. So I usually don't use that space. And then instead of doing a line, I delineate that section by writing that it's a schedule, because I just like the look of it. And here I will add a to-do section. And that I do because when I have the next week's section, before I plan out, and I will do it now. So there are 2 birthdays to keep in mind for next week. I will just put it in a to-do, because it's not necessarily tied to a certain day this time, because their birthdays were last week actually, but they weren't at work, so they were colleagues. So these are the things that don't yet have a specific day, and they are like more like an overarching goal. This I actually did. I love crossing it off. Little tasks for the work. And what does this say? I have to see what I meant by this. Yes. So these will be the things that will then, when I decide which day of the week is going to be handed to work on each of these things, when there will be less meetings and so on, I will just transfer them to that day. So my work section usually gets more populated during the week as I plan out the current day and the day the forthcoming day. And then I block out the hours in which I have meetings. So this is basically my regular weekly planning. This happens at the end of each week. And let's just see, this is mercredi, this is me butchering French as per usual, so that's from 10:30 to, they're a little tiny because there are a lot of meetings. 30 model meeting, the data stewardship handbook, oh yeah, I missed a meeting here, let's see, that's Kanban and Rama. Okay, so there will be an early, well, not an early morning, just a morning meeting on Monday or two. Then there's a meeting at I'm just using this time now to bore you and to block out my time while I'm already in my Hobonichi and transferring it. And this will be I think you can see if you look a little bit that I put this one a little bit too closer. So usually this is the line where I would be writing them. It doesn't really matter, but that's what happens when I'm trying to go a bit faster. Okay, and then we have a whole day of courses for Friday and Wednesday, and if possible, a meeting that I would like to listen into on Friday in between, but that I will probably not be able to work in there, but I just want to make sure if something changes that it's dotted down. So that is my weekly transfer from the last month to from the last year's Hobonichi to the new year's Hobonichi, and then I will do just quick jots without outlines for anything that's left to do in my coming weeks. So I will go through. See, this is very, very interesting because I keep switching to the wrong layout. So I don't think I will actually be posting this, but if I do, I ended up, see, flipping 2 pages instead of 1. So yeah, I will just go through the end of them through the last 3 weeks here. There are not that many notes because I didn't plan, so that's basically just the next week here that I would go. Any remaining notes are going to be put in here. And I'm sorry for shaking the camera, I'm just really trying to hurry up now. And then that's the end of the weeklies, and the longest assignment is actually what I've already told you, which is going from January 2025 to January to December 2025, while it is simultaneously flipping through the months in my 2026 and copying any yearly obligations. So that was a little bit chaotic, more chaotic than I thought. But I will go through my monthlies and copy the remaining, like I said, and then all that's left to do is migrate the physical things. So I will leave my little notes and memorabilia that I no longer need in my 2025. Some of them I will sometimes transfer into my junk journal. So this little cute thingy might, oh, and there's a stamp there, good thing I checked. So these little things, they might end up in my journaling, in my junk journaling notebook. And then any remaining notes, my tabs, sometimes I stick in a little money there just so in case I need the cash and I'm out in my wallet, that I have a saving grace, and I will just stuff them in my this year's Hobonichi instead. So that's the last step that I do usually, and I really like this year's freebies. So this will also eventually make it to my junk journal. This one, this pocket I usually don't use, but I always have it just in case I change my mind, or I don't know, for some reason decide to abandon the cover, the clear cover. I've never done that. Yeah, I really like this writing board as well. So I will put that in, because I think I will be using it this year. My what's it called? Ravnolin creation ruler, and my tabs, they go with me because I need them for organizing. And then I'll just stuff this 20 here because it was here before. I usually try to have less things, but I guess this year was particularly chaotic, so there was a lot more in here than before. I decided to not use this clear cover, even though it survived. Usually my clear covers, my completely clear covers like this ones, so far have always fallen apart. But this one is holding on well. It's just that I wanted this design to be visible. So I think that's all. I'm saying goodbye to my old Hobonichi, and I'm now fully committing to my new one. I'm really looking forward to it. I love this design. It's really resonating with me, and I'm excited to use it. So I think that's enough for today. It was a long video. I hope you used it to get you to sleep or something, because I understand it might have been a little bit too chaotic to actually fully comprehend my system. But thank you still for hanging out if you're here, and I hope you're having a nice creative day. Bye.